I'm just looking at
There you go.
Oh God, yeah, got it. I'm just looking at a list of all the participants. Yeah, that's absolutely fine. Yeah, good, excellent. So now I need to share that screen again, don't I?
If you just go into
you are screen. No, I'm already screen
mode.
sharing. That's fine.
Yeah,
That's
okay.
fine.
Just go into presentation mode. You'll be
Yep.
fine.
Got it. Let's get rid of these I need to get rid of these participants. Fine. Okay. Right. Let's go back to number one. Oh, good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining. I see we have participants from the Netherlands, participants from Germany, participants from the UK. I think there may even be one from Canada. So we have quite a quorum in the room today. Thank you. Thank you all for joining. This is a brief presentation. It is more or less the presentation that I gave to the GTUG in the middle of last month. So if you happen to see the presentation, then this will look very similar to you, very familiar to you. As people may know, I am Craig Lawrence, and I represent the EMEA business development arm of NTI. Where we have for many years now sold the DRNET product, and today we're talking about DRNET Unified, which is our new spearhead, our new arrow for HPE customers to be able to improve their entire installation for data replication and data sharing. So if I can now click on that. Right, the company, as you well know, probably, or maybe you don't, the company maintains its private ownership. It's been private for 36 years, coming up to 37 years. It originally pioneered non-stop data protection and was indeed a partner of ACI's back in the early 1990s, before Golden Gate came along, when DRNET was the only way to actually replicate transaction data from one platform to another. It was the first in the market. And it's continued to grow and continued to gain customers and hold on to customers. We have data and support centers in both the USA and Ireland. I should say that makes us gives us an EU presence, and we continue to have the lowest total cost of ownership, and remain, I think, the only company to have a direct support model. So those clients that enjoy being able to speak to an expert directly, then we continue to offer that direct support model. So recent developments in NTI are a new website that we have absolutely revamped. We've recreated it, we've refreshed it, we've made it look new, we've made it more interesting. So it's got fresh content, and I would urge you to go and take a look at that if you haven't already had the chance. We have expanded the Tansoft and NTI relationship significantly. So while we have worked together for many years, we are now expanding on that relationship, and we're branding that as a business continuity package called DRNET Unified for HPE. So more on that in a moment. And on the 17th of November last month, NTI conducted a webinar coordinated by Connect, highlighting the substantial commercial savings that are available from NTI. So you may have seen this in your inbox over the last few weeks. Of course, this is historical now. This took place on November the 17th, and I think the chance to win $100 Amazon gift card is probably gone by now if you hadn't entered. However, we spoke and announced the DRNET Unified for HPE customers strategy as organized by Connect. So the DRNET background, as well you probably know, in terms of the core DRNET, nothing has really changed there. We absolutely remain non-stop centric. We have been a non-stop centric company for all of our years. So we move data between non-stops, either to non-stop or from non-stop, and also to business intelligence, data warehouses for artificial intelligence or machine learning engines to chew on. So all that is directly supported, no support ticket handoffs are required. There are no intermediary layers like the competition may provide to you. So this is key for us. We continue to support the latest models. So the non-stop 8s, the non-stop 4s, all this more recent software is available, and all these latest models are supported. So we continue to deliver on our message of provisioning excellence in data. Over the last year or so, NTI has focused on delivering the provisioning of data wherever it needs to go. So aside from data, there are equally file activities to consider. And these file activities are quite important because the whole application environment is not complete without the replication and the distribution of files and all the files that form part of that application environment. And so the leadership of both Tansoft and NTI believe we can offer something combined and something better. So a blended approach that not only benefits non-stop customers immensely and prevents a superior choice to those offered by the competition, but we do so featuring direct support, something that no one else offers. So there's a big why behind this. Why are we doing this? Well, there are several motivators. Both NTI and Tansoft find themselves now in direct competition with our partner, HPE. Remember some months ago or even earlier, HPE chose another as their preferred business continuity solution, which is absolutely their right to do. We can't quibble about that. However, NTI and Tansoft believe we can compete fairly, and assuming customers take the opportunity to perform proper due diligence, we feel there's value in customers doing that. Furthermore, NTI and Tansoft believe customers and not vendors actually set their business continuity strategies, and we'd encourage consumers and customers not to put all their eggs into a large, indirectly supported egg basket. And although it may be easy to add products as part of an x86 tech refresh, what if the actual product performance doesn't quite live up to the hype? Now you may find yourself stuck. So with DRNet, you will never lose a transaction. And with FileSync Compare from Tansoft, you can easily compare the largest files in no time at all. Those are quite facts and easily provable. Try it and you will see. And lastly, the amount of misinformation and disinformation circulating would be laughable, if not so incorrect. The most recent example was a TBC presentation where a competitor said that they, not NTI, pioneered change data capture. Come on, are we rewriting history? And there are others where we shake our heads yet prefer to always take the high road. So there you have it, from soup to nuts. Everything you need from a single source provider, directly sold, directly supported, with an uninterrupted line of support between the vendor and the customer. So DRNet Core, which represents the business continuity through data replication, that's the very beating heart of DRNet. Then you have DRNet Vision, which is our business insights from artificial intelligence, machine learning, and analytics. So there we're pushing data into whatever business analytics platform you may need. DRNet Open, where we have business cooperation presenting opportunities. And with our partner, DRNet FileSync, applications and non-database replication, which replicates those applications and non-database files more quickly and more efficiently than ever. We have XPBR, the data block modification archival solution. And lastly, from Tansoft, we have the XPCR, which is the rapid data validation and correction, which working on a block-based basis is much, much more efficient and much quicker and much more reliable. So in summary, I will say two words: comparisons and alternatives. Do take the offer to make comparisons and compare the alternatives. Do your homework. Do kick the tires. Come to us. There are choices. There are alternatives. Make the vendor, any vendor for that matter, earn their business by proving their technology works in your environment, not just in the brochure, not just the technology, not just the hypothetical capability, and then make the best decision you can for your business. So thank you very much for your attention. And I'm pleased to say I have now reached the end of my presentation, and could I open the floor to any questions?
I've got a question for you, Craig. Just in this, we've got plenty of time. So there's quite a suite of products now. Are they sold as individual modules, or is there like an overarching umbrella that you sell them on for business continuity?
A good question. A good question. The move in our market right now is to move away from the source and target licensing model that we have previously used and that many of our competitors have used. So it's very common to take a source tandem a source tandem system, for example, and then look at all the target systems that may be another tandem, another non-stop. There may be a couple of Unix boxes. And so you would find yourself adding up all that total number of systems, and you'd find yourself with maybe 4 or 5 or 6 different licenses for all those different boxes. So now we're taking a view which is we're going to include the non-tandem boxes as part of the package at 0 cost.
Right.
So the license cost will be removed for anything that's Linux, anything that's Oracle, anything that's non-tandem. And the view there is that we want to create a compelling value justification to the customer to say, hey, yeah, well, we can do this. We can do this, and we can do this in a competitive manner.
Okay, yeah, I mean, I used to have a customer, funny enough, they didn't use DRNet for disaster recovery. They did DROpen, the DRNet Open, because they were replicating change records to MySQL, and they were using that as a data warehouse. So yeah.
Right. Interesting. Yeah. We can. There are customers that have mixes. I spoke with a customer last week that has Shadowbase and Golden Gate. They're using bits of both because some of it works and some of it doesn't. So they're using the best bits of both that actually work, which I thought was quite amusing. Any further questions, participants? Oh, come on, you must have one question.
They're ever so quiet today, aren't they?
They are.
I don't think they're having enough coffee. That's the problem. Come on, James, you must have a question for us. Not to want to point you out.
Oh, I thought you weren't allowed to put people on the spot, Ian. That's what Ian said. No, I'm fine. Happy with we have NTI on our base 24 site system, so chugging away fine. Can't think of anything at the moment.
Thank you, James. Thank you.
No problem.
So I mean, I think a general question, which is probably interesting for you then, and Craig. I mean, I think for a lot of customers, there seems to have been a move over the last maybe 4 or 5 years from active passive to active active, and I don't know whether that's what what everyone else is sort of seeing. And I don't know, Craig, whether that's what you're seeing in terms of the usage of DRNet. I think that's something and it's definitely had an impact on HPE because you know, a lot of customers have had RDF in the past, and clearly RDF does not satisfy that active-active requirement. So I don't know where customers are going.
Yeah, we should open that question up to James and to Craig Hurley and to any other customers who may be joining. Oh, even Neil is there. Look at Neil's there. I thought he retired. Hello, Neil. Yeah. What are those customers doing? I know there's a lot of intention to get to active-active, but it requires quite a step. I mean, I know it's only one word difference in the description, but the work required to get to it is quite substantial. Any thoughts on that?
I can probably answer that now, as no longer working for Lloyd's or any other company.
Well, hey.
I think it's the applications that I've seen run are built on an active-passive environment and cope with that and how to do it, rather than newer applications would go active-active. The amount of work to make them active-active is very high, not on nearly all the applications.
Yeah, I mean, I think, Neil, I mean, you know, I'm not as close to you as you are to this, but I think there obviously is quite a bit more configuration and stuff around there. But to me, the biggest issue is one of, in reality, data collisions, and how do you handle that? Have you got it? How do you handle it if it happens? You know, whereas, you know, an active-passive, you obviously don't have to consider that. But conversely, the downside of an active-passive environment is that, you know, it takes a hell of a lot of practice to fail over. And every time you make some changes, you need to make sure that all your runbooks recognize those changes, you know, and configurations are the same on both sides. Otherwise, you can be in deep doo-doo when you do an active-passive failover.
Craig, can I add a little further information on Ian's notion of the
please do.
Yeah, with the active-active and the collisions. This is a great opportunity to just quickly talk about the FS compare, that if you do have those collisions and there may be an inconsistency with your database, this solution can really help you identify the discrepancy. It's one that it happens, and then when your customer has to tell you that there's a problem, that's way too late and a lot more costly in the whole support infrastructure. So the compare solution that is part of the DRNet Unified can identify false positives and also discrepancies with the active-active environment. Just wanted to add that in.
That's very important. I think that's very key because, as you say, Jack, that if there ever is any downtime on the link, for example, and each side has to busily catch up replicating to the other when everything recovers, then there may be some discrepancies that you weren't expecting, and that correction may suddenly become very important. Yeah.
Just to add, one of the big fears on comparing your large nonstop database, you have to really see this product run and do its thing. It works at the block level very fast. It also understands partitions, so you could really segregate or identify or concentrate on a particular partition if you wish as well. But it can really get through a large database. It's designed for a large database, an active database, to identify the discrepancy.
Thanks, Jack.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I think in reality, we've been doing active-active for a long time. We have customers who do it. Going back to your point, Ian, the collision detection is a solved problem. It has been a solved problem for a long, best part of 20 years or more. So it's a key and included part of the DRNet solution. Okay, any more questions from anybody? Okay, in that case, I'll take my leave and prepare for my next presentation when I put